Hey guys, it's TechRain here. In today's video, we're doing a $500 pure performance gaming PC. That is right. I'm pretty excited about this build here today because it's actually very nice, especially the case we got, because if you guys did not know, we did a review on this case recently from Okonos. This is their Cypress 3 wood, and I think this build is going to turn absolutely amazing, especially for our price point. For $500, we'll be getting some great 1080p gaming out of it. Now for our specs, we got ourselves the crucial P3 Plus 1TB drive. Now this drive is the drive we're going for the build. It's $60. It's great for its price point. You could go for the Gen 3, but the Gen 3 and Gen 4 are pretty much the exact same price. But if you want to cheap out on this build and go a little bit lower, you don't actually have to go for 1TB. This is just the recommended. I would recommend it any gaming PC nowadays if you're building a new PC. 1TB is the way to go. 500 if you're really tight on money, but I would just do this. For our CPU, we have the Ryzen 5 5500. This is a 6-core, 12-thread CPU for $80. It's honestly just a great budget CPU for actually AM4, and it's amazing to game on too. I was originally going to go with the 56X, but the price points between the two is not really the best because I guess spend a little bit more, like $40 more. They get the 56X, and the performance you're really gaining from both of them if you're going with the higher end one is like only a 10% gain in some actual games. So I couldn't really reason with myself to spend $40 on the actual better CPU, and this looked perfectly good for its price point. So that's the CPU for the build, and the good thing is it comes with a cooler, so we will not have to buy one. For our RAM, we went with 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance. Now keep in mind, this is just something I had on hand. It's only 24 megahertz, so it isn't particularly the best. And of course, it's a little bit more than in our price point for our actual budget. So I would recommend, if you do want to do this and save a little bit of money, go with 16 gigabytes. You can save around like 20 to actually $30, depending on which brand you actually buy. I will have an alternative link down below. But I would recommend 32 gigabytes as the entry point for any build nowadays. And you can actually find used kits on the market for pretty cheap. So that's why we're going 32. For our motherboard, we got the Asus B550M Elite AX. This is a motherboard that came for $120, and it's great about this board. It comes with two M.2 slots, actually a nice 16 slot, and an additional one, just in case you want to slap in maybe an expansion card of some sort, or if you want to slap in a 2.5 network card, you can actually do that with this board. But the big thing to keep in mind is that these actual CPU we're using with the Ryzen 5 55X only supports Gen 3 drives, but we slap in a Gen 4 drive on this board. And the reason why we're doing that, if you want to upgrade later, you'll have a faster drive when you upgrade to a new system, so you'll notice a difference. Now for a GPU, we got the 2060. This is a single fan GPU that we got off the used marketplace for $120, which is absolutely fantastic. I don't really recommend buying a 2060 more than $150 because this GPU is weird because it's got 6 gigabytes of VRAM, which is more than enough for 1080p gaming, which is going to be great for, but it's not one of those GPUs you want to buy new at all. You definitely want to buy used, and you want to buy it around like that low 150. So 120 for what we got is actually fantastic. For our power supply, we got a power supply from Micro Center, which is their power spec 650 watt power supply. This thing is just great because it's bronze rated, gets the job done, and that's all that particularly matters. And finally, for our case, we got the Cypress 3 wood from Okonos. They actually sent this out here today to sponsor this PC build. That was very cool of them. I was not expecting them to do that in the first place, but you know, they said, hey, we want to sponsor this build. Now, everything we use in this PC build video will be linked down below. I will throw some additional things down there, like possible upgrades you can do, or optional things if you want to save yourself some money on certain components. I will have everything linked down below. Use any of those links to do support the channel at no charge to you guys, so always appreciated. And for right now though, let's get in the build. So the first thing we're going to do is open up our motherboard box. Got our Wi-Fi antenna, we'll set to the side. We have our board. Carefully pull this on out. What we'll do is going to close the motherboard box and then set our motherboard right on top of it after we take it out of the plastic. The first thing we need to do is line up the gold triangle on our CPU with the black triangle on our motherboard. So you can see right here, there's a little black triangle right there. All we want to do is lift up the little lever to ourselves. And when it's opened, we're going to take that gold triangle, line it up with the black triangle, and just let it fall on into the socket. Once it's folded in, we just want to push our little lever back down. And with that, our CPU is installed. Now for our memory, we want to open our 2 and 4 slots by opening up little dims here. You just pull these on open like so. And the next thing we want to do is grab our memory. So what we want to do is take this little tooth on our actual RAM and line it up with the actual board. So we can actually see if we line it on up. For DDR4, the logo points towards the CPU. So we're just going to carefully line up in our slot. And then once we have it in there, we can just push down. And once it clicks on both sides, you have your RAM installed. Same rule of thumb, do it again on the 4 slot, line it on up. With that, our RAM is installed. Now for our M.2, we have a little screw right here. We need to take our small Phillips screwdriver. We're gonna unscrew this like so. We're gonna just take this little screw, set it to the side so we don't lose it. So what we wanna do is take the big tooth and small tooth and line it up with actually our socket. The small tooth's on the bottom side and the big tooth's on the opposite side. We want to carefully line it up with a 45-degree angle. Once you have lined it up, we want to carefully wiggle it on in. Once you have that, take one finger, push it on down. And when you have it pushed on down, I would recommend taking the small screw from earlier, carefully lining on up with the actual screw hole, carefully screwing it back on down. So the next thing we want to do is take off these 4 screws from this mount thing because we want to use our stock cooler for our CPU. So we're just going to carefully lefty-loosey these. And the reason why we're putting on the motherboard box for this is that way we can actually have the back plate that's on this motherboard not to fall off. So that's why we're doing it on the motherboard box. With that, we take this aside. We can get ready to install our actual CPU cooler. Now, the good thing about the CPU cooler is it's going to be more than enough to cool our CPU. Plus, it comes with pre-applied thermal paste. It's kind of hard to see because the white balance on my camera, but we do not need to actually add any thermal paste. You want to take these 4 screws and actually match them with the back plate here. So once you have it lined on up perfectly, make sure the logo is pointed downward, and you want to just put a little pressure on the top and screw it in from each 4 sides. So we're gonna need a little bit here. Now we're gonna need a little bit on the top side here. Apply pressure here, apply a little bit of pressure, top right. So we want to just do this evenly across the whole thing. And once you actually have it nicely tightened, you'll know it's nicely tightened because what will happen, won't turn anymore. And our CPU cooler is nicely installed. So now we want to do, take our CPU fan header. So you can see right here, little CPU fan header. We want to take this back slip here, line it up with our actual front slip. You can see there's a little slip mark. We want to make sure those pins line on up and push it on down. So all we want to do, take this little bit of this peel here, and we want to remove this because you don't want this getting hot when you're powering on your system. It's in a weird spot. And before we actually install our actual motherboard, we do need to uninstall this back rear fan because it is blocking the way for the installation. So there's 4 screws here. We want to take these 4 screws and unscrew them to get the actual case fan out. Now that we got this rear fan uninstalled, we can just carefully pull it on out. Luckily, it's not plugged into anything right now. Now that we got our back fan removed, we can carefully take our motherboard, lightly and slowly place it on in here. You want to make sure you line up the back I/O shield with the motherboard itself. So there's a few different spots we want to screw down. There's one right here. There's going to be one on the top. There's going to be one on the actual side over here. And then there's going to be another on the bottom for this corner. And then there's one more. Okay, maybe there is another one. I thought that was it. I thought there was another one. I guess not. With that, we have our motherboard nicely installed into our case, which is awesome. So the next thing we're going to do is reinstall that rear fan we just take. Make sure the logo is ported in the inside, since we want the back side of the logo be ported towards out. That way we blow the exhaust out. So we're going to carefully line this on up and then grab our screws from earlier we uninstalled with it. Once you get the first screw in, the rest of them just become easy. So what we're going to do is take this actual fan header we have right here for our rear fan. It's kind of hard to see because of lighting the case, but we want to plug in our rear fan into here. So the next thing we want to do is plug in our 3 fans into the system fan header 2, which is like in a weird spot. It's like all the way at the bottom. So you can see that system fan 2, we want to plug it right into there. And of course, since all of them are daisy chained, all 3 of them, we just have one header we need to plug in, one 3-pin. Okay, we're chilling, chat. We're vibing. So what we're gonna do, we have our HD audio header right here. We're gonna plug this HD audio header on the far left right here on our actual board. It's always hard to see this kind of stuff, but there's an empty pin. You want to make sure that empty pin slot matches on up with the actual one that's missing. Now we just got a front panel connections. We just want to plug them right on the bottom here. And of course, I would recommend just looking at your motherboard manual to set this on up. And I just realized I have the wrong slot open. I have the 1 and 2, but I need the 2 and 3. Oh my God, I might have to uninstall the motherboard real quick. Now we got a beautiful 2060. Not the best cooling in the world, but the GPU, it's going to be fantastic for gaming. Take that 16 by slot, line it up with our board for our 2 and 3 slots, and don't make the same mistake I did where you have to uninstall it. That we got our GPU nicely installed. We're going to carefully take our power supply here, line up over back, have our fan pointed to below, power supply in. Take this little guy, because we're going to use these for actually plugging it, screwing down our power supply. So there's 4 corners. There's one like right here, one there, one there. We're just going to carefully screw on our Phillips, push it up a bit. The screw holes are perfect. Want to screw it on down. With that, our power supply is nicely installed to the back of our case. So our power supply is going to have all the cables connected, and we only need like 3 cables. We need our 24 pin for our board, our PCIe cable for our actual GPU. We only need one of these. We're going to take the top one right here. You'll be able to identify it because it just says PCIe. So there's the one without a label. Usually it would say CPU, but it doesn't say it on this one. I'm just going to make the assumption that it's the CPU. And if it doesn't go in perfectly, then we know for a fact that it isn't. So don't force something in if it doesn't fit, because then you'll have problems. So we're gonna take our GPU. There's a little slip here on the actual bottom. It's kind of hard to like show you guys on camera. We're just gonna run this down here and up. So we're gonna take our 24 pin and run it to the top one. And now for the one with no label, what we wanna do is take this one and run it all the way up here because our CPU is on the top. So what we're gonna do is take our GPU cable we just routed, carefully line it on up. We're gonna take this, plug it into our GPU. Take our 24 pin now. There's a little clip here. Somewhat see, it's kind of hard to tell because there's a little clip here. We want to make sure this clip is pointing to the side. Carefully line up our pins, put on down. 24 pin to our board's good. Now for the last one is your CPU. And the CPU is always the hardest one to do because it's always in a weird spot. So it's all the way right there. The phone flashlight, you can see that 8 pin right there. I'll zoom in and post for you guys to see. Make sure the clips right here are actually pointed upwards. So it's gonna be kind of jank. Moment of truth. Will she post? Oh, powered on. Good sign, good sign. Did we get any indicator? Oh, there we go. She's booting, boys and girls. So the next thing we're gonna do is install Windows 11. We're just take our USB drive we have set up. I'll have a video on how to do this link down below. And we just plug that into our PC. Turn our PC on. Okay, sweet. And notice our USB drive to install Windows. So what we're gonna do is just quickly install Windows onto our PC. So the first game we'll be testing is Apex Legends. Now I have the FOV maxed out, everything else on high settings to very high. So with this game, we should notice a pretty good difference in FPS on our high settings versus low settings, which will give a general good idea on how this GPU actually perform. Okay, so right off the rip on the jump ship, we're hitting around 90 to 100 FPS average, which is pretty good for a 1080p gaming PC. I assume once we land, we'll like get nearly maybe double to like 40 to 60 more FPS, but I don't expect any more than that. So now that we landed, we're around like over 140 FPS and still climbing. Actually pretty good. So we're almost at 200 FPS at times in this actual game, which is actually really sick to see. So what should happen if we actually max out our settings to low and have the competitive settings, which we'll do in just a bit here, we should nearly double our FPS or even triple it possibly. I also did try to enable XMP and also like set the memory frequency, but the PC has unstable memory unfortunately, so I wasn't able to do that. Now a quick thing I do want to mention too is that I said this PC build has 32 gigabytes. I actually misread the sticks. We only have 16, which is not the worst in the world, just kind of like you know what I'm saying? They fighting? Smells like. And knocked one. Oh wow, nasty! He just got a nasty nade. Okay. We're still hitting good, consistent FPS. Huh. Game does not want to let me move at all. Oh my god, the real one was right in my face. I'm legally blind. Okay, so what I did now was make all of our settings low, so we should get nearly double, triple the FPS right there. So right now, 110 FOV. We of course have VSync disabled, 2 gigs. Bilinear, and then everything else. So this is like the competitive settings for Apex if you want the most FPS possible. So now that we landed and we have the best possible settings for this game, we're getting around over consistently 170, which is very good. We were hitting at times earlier near 200, which is pretty cool. But it doesn't seem like that's the case this time around. I'm not entirely sure why, but it seems like Apex doesn't want to like work entirely perfect when it comes down to certain things. So the next game we're testing is Fortnite. Now I have unlimited FPS, DirectX 12 enabled, we have motion blur disabled, and also everything is on low. We have DLSS enabled performance, and then the only thing we have on high is like far for draw distance, but these are the competitive settings I particularly use for Fortnite. So I'm gonna pull up or no? No? Oh, this pistol was crazy, bro. Okay, you know what? I can't hit anything with this SMG, it seems. There's one. Come here, boy. Give me them toes. You for real on that? And another one. Okay, I literally keep barely missing this kid at all. This is kind of insane. Oh my god, this sucks. That sucks. Is that better? What is this? Is that grenade? I thought it was a grenade launcher, but it looks like I was correct. Okay, you know what? So I just cranked up everything to high real quick.
NANI?!
Oh snap, that's a sniper! Ah, damn, I don't know what to do about that baseball bat. That baseball bat had me there. Next up, we got Marvel Rivals. Now, I have everything set default besides changing DLSS to performance, but everything else is set to high for the time being just to see how it performs. So this is how it looks like with high settings so far. Keep in mind, I have no idea how to play this game, so I'm just kind of going by ear. So far, we're hitting around consistently 60 FPS above average, so it's not dropping to the non-playable zone, which is good. Nice. Well, that was pretty good. I'm kind of curious now to see how it actually performs in low setting. Gotten more FPS, significantly more, almost like 50% more, but it's nice to see because we were averaging around over as near 60 to 70 on high settings. Right now we're on low settings, which is honestly still looks really good wise. Yeah, we're hitting a lot more FPS.
Anyone willing to help?
Bully Jeff, bully Jeff.
Maximum pulse! That's what happens when you're powered with protons.
Nice, okay.
Another epic victory!
Let's go, let's go.
So the PC turned out pretty good. I'm really happy with how this actually looks. Looks really freaking good for its black and wood theme aesthetic. And the nice thing about this thing is the crushed 1080p gaming. Now, it wasn't particularly the most insane FPS possible, but that's what you kind of get for actually $500. But still, being able to hit over 120 FPS with this actual machine for a budget is surprisingly really good. I thought this GPU and CPU combo would be alright, but not this great. So I'm really happy with the result of this actual build. And again, thank you again, Okanos, for actually sending out this case. Of course, everything in this video will be linked down below if you do use any of those links to do support the channel. But yeah, honestly, I'm really happy with this PC. And if you can actually get a good deal on a 2060, I would recommend actually building this. If you guys enjoy this PC build video here today, make sure to smash the like button, get subscribed so you don't miss out on future tech content, because later here we will be making a PC flip video, and we're going to try to flip this PC and double our sponsor money. So we made like 300 on this video, then we used it all for this PC build, so we're going to try to double that. So maybe make $600 from the flip video? I don't know. So if y'all want to find out what happens, definitely get subscribed. And I'll see you in one. Tech Grant out.